Thomas the tank engine used to grumble and fuss around the yard at the big station. He'd spend his time crankily organising trains for the bigger engines, and would then scurry off to keep the wagons in order. Most of the engines and coaches had grown accustomed to his complaints. The trucks never paid him any attention to begin with. But a set of older coaches had grown fond of him. They never went out much, but Thomas always made sure to whistle to them as he passed, and he always promised he'd find work for them. "We're far too old for those fast passenger services nowadays," they'd tell him. "Rubbish! You never know when you'll be needed. Just you wait and see," Thomas persisted. One evening, Thomas was tidying up the yard after a busy day. He moved the sleepy coaches and snoring trucks carefully into their proper places, and was soon having a drink when he heard a commotion from the station. Samuel, a big engine who worked the line, came crawling into the platform with the post train, wheezing loudly. A porter then ran over to Thomas's cab. "There's a defect in the last two vans. We need you to take them off and find suitable replacements at once." Thomas shunted the defective vans away and soon went searching around the yard. But he couldn't find suitable replacements anywhere. He soon found himself looking around the carriage sheds. "Oh, where are those mail vans? Oh, where are those mail vans?" Thomas huffed. "The carriage works," said a pair of voices. It was the two old coaches. "Did you need them for something?" "Beep, beep! Here you are," hooted Thomas as he shunted the two coaches behind the train. Samuel was about to protest, but he looked up at the station clock and decided against it. The drivers, firemen, porters, and even the station master quickly placed the sacks on board the coaches, who were tittering to each other in excitement. With much puffing and chuffing, Samuel hauled out of the station with his somewhat unusual train, anxious to make up for lost time. Thomas gave a cheery whistle as he watched them depart. Both coaches enjoyed their run along the line and were happy to see familiar stations again. But they both agreed they were better suited to slower services and were happy to return to the yard the next day. Nowadays, you can see them singing happy tunes as they stroll along their charming little branch line behind their cheeky little tank engine.
Goodbye.